This call is now being recorded.
All right, so let's begin. So, let me brief what we have discussed in earlier class. Am I audible, Anuradha? From once more.
Sir, you're audible, but it's breaking a little bit like in between.
There is a network. Hmm. Now it's okay.
Yes, sir, it is okay. So when it will break, I'll
Okay.
inform you.
Ha 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 ha. So here, what I had discussed in earlier class. So because you were not present in previous class. So I started with the basic definition of signals and systems. So this is your subject. Subject title is signal processing and its application. And first we have to begin with the signals and systems. And this is very important subject, Anuradha, from GATE examination point of view or other competitive examination point of view. Very basic and fundamental subject. So you should have a very good command over this. So wherever you go for competition or placement, people may ask you a question related to this from this signals and systems. So first of all, we have to understand what signal is. I mean, how we are going to define signal. So we gave a definition: signal is a physical quantity which varies with respect to independent variables. So here, independent variables may be your time, distance, and etc. So if this is so, here in our course, what independent variable we are consider? Here we are going to consider independent variable, that will be time. So with respect to time, we have to see how signal varies. Will be our primary focus over this independent variable time. On the basis of this definition, I have a number of examples I can keep in front of you. But out of 1,000, to understand signal, we have one or two that will be sufficient to understand signals. So what are those? So example may be are you here, Anuradha? Okay,
Yes, sir.
Vansika has joined. Okay, perfect. So signal, yes. So what example will be? So example you may consider here voice signal. Voice signal is a good example that I can give for this. Or you may consider this as a audio signal also. Audio signal. Right. So how this is your signal? So you see here frequency changes with respect to time. Sometimes I'm louder, sometimes I'm not louder. Means intensity of voice signal is basically varying over the time. Same for the audio signal. Same for the you may consider some other signal like that is generated from earthquake. During earthquake, this seismic signal generates. So that is also your signal. So over time, magnitude varies, amplitude varies. So that is a signal. Basically, how we are going to represent. So mathematically, you are going to represent signal something like that. So if you consider this dependent variable x, which is a function of time t, so that you may consider like t square or something like t. So these are the examples of mathematical examples of signal. So if you keep on changing the value of t, this x will change. So amplitude of this function will changing. So we can say this is a example of signal, and same xt equal to t. This is also a mathematical expression of this signal. Okay, so on the basis, once we understand this signal, now we have to see on the basis of this how we can classify this. So signal is basically broadly classified in two parts. First, you can say is this signal is this way. You can classify. Wait a minute. Signal I may classify into this way. Continuous time signal, and second, discrete time signal. One minute. Sorry to say, this is not correct. Wait a minute. First one is analog signal. First is analog signal, and second, digital. Analog signal, and this is digital signal. And this analog signal is further classified in two ways. First is called continuous time signal. Continuous time signal. And second, discrete time signal. Discrete time signal. So this is what we have a classification, students. So this way you can classify, and from this discrete to digital, if you wish to obtain, if you have wish to obtain digital signal from this discrete, what you do, you just pass through this analog to digital converter. You keep one device that is A to D converter, and this output gives you digital signal. So here, students, we are not going to see this digital signal. Basically, we are going to have this discrete time signal in our course that we are going to see in detail. Also, we have to see about this continuous time signal. Means we are going to study this continuous time signal and discrete time signal. But many book they have claimed that basically signal is classified into continuous time signal and discrete time signal. So that way they claimed basically. But here that is not a good approach. So these two basically comes under analog signal. So we can say on the basis of this, all continuous time signals are analog signal. But all analog signals cannot be a continuous time signal. It may be your discrete time signal also. So this would be clear to you, continuous time signal and discrete time signal. And then if you wish to obtain digital signal, that is in binary form 0, 1, you have to use A to D converter. But you see here, to get digital signal, we have only one step, that is we have to pass this discrete time signal through A to D converter, then we get digital signal. But in when we need to analyze digital signal, we don't have any mathematics to deal with binary number. So what we do basically, we deal rather digital signal, we deal discrete time signal. So you have to understand what is discrete time signal and what is continuous time signal, means how we are going to differentiate these two terms, how we are going to differentiate. So now from this name, it is clear that this continuous time signal basically continuous in time, means whatever you have a wave, that will be continuous in time as well as continuous in amplitude. So what does mean of continuous in time? So let me have one waveform. Suppose we have this example, and if I consider this independent variable here, time t, and here you say consider this as a function x as a function of time t, and you see this waveform, suppose this goes this way, something like this. So what we observe here, that this waveform is basically continuous in time and same continuous in amplitude. So this is an example of continuous time signal, continuous in time as well as continuous in amplitude. So this is your continuous time signal. So whenever you have continuous time signal, it is represented by x. I mean, this x, in place of this x, maybe some other alphabets, maybe y, z, whatever. So, but this will be your t, means time you have to represent by this way, means when it is written t, you have to understand that people are talking about continuous time signal. And coming to this discrete time signal is basically discrete in time, means whatever you have waveform, that will be discrete in time but continuous in amplitude. So what is the example? So if you consider the same signal and you represent this into discrete form, so something would like this. It will be like this, discrete in time. This way we have a discrete data, something like this. So this is your discrete in time, means between each sample there is a discontinuity, and you see amplitude is continuous. So this is your discrete data, students. And here for this, what we have a notation, in place of this t we have to write n for discrete signal. We use this notation n is basically represents here time. So whenever you see n, means people talk about discrete time signal. And you see here, this time, discrete time, must be integer number. Please remember this. Discrete time must be integer. Don't consider decimal value. Discrete time must be integer. I hope you know what integer number is. Must be integer, means if it is 0, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth, this way. Don't consider 1.5. Decimal value doesn't apply here. This is invalid. So we always go for integer, and then we say that is your discrete time signal. And if you interpolate means you join all the top of these samples by this freehand, then you'll be getting this kind of signal like this. So this is what you have, discretized version of this continuous time signal. So now in detail we are going to see both signal, that is continuous time signal and discrete time signal. So people will ask you, what is the difference between these two? So we have a lot of difference, and those differences we are going to cover in this unit first. So we have around 4 to 5 lectures to finish unit first. And in this unit first, we will cover introduction about signals and systems and classification as well. Once we complete, then we have to see analysis of the signals and system in time domain. Analysis means if signal given to the system, what will be the output of that system? That also we are going to cover in this unit itself. Okay, so that part we'll see in next class. But here what we have to begin. So this is what I had covered in previous classes, students. And now for today's class, what we are going to begin. Now we are going to begin with the classification of signals. Classification of signals. Classification of signals. And this also, I think, if I remember myself, I had started with periodic versus non-periodic. I think Vanshika knows better what I covered. Can you please recall me, Vanshika, what I taught in previous class in classification of signal, what I covered?
Yes, sir.
Periodic versus non-periodic.
Yes, sir. Periodic versus non-periodic.
Perfect, perfect. So have you understood the concept?
Yes, sir. I understood the concept.
Okay, good. So again, I'm going to repeat. Listen carefully. If you have a little doubt, here you can clarify again. So periodic versus aperiodic. So when we call signal is periodic, so signal is periodic when suppose you have this signal like this.
Sir, you're not audible.
Am I audible, Vanshika, Anuradha?
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. So what is periodic and what is non-periodic? See here, you consider this example. If I consider my continuous time signal, and same it will apply for discrete also. If this is your signal, and signal is like a sinusoidal wave, and you see it completes one cycle, and after one cycle it repeats itself. Means shape of this signal is repeated. So at what interval now this shape of this signal is repeated? So I will consider this time. Suppose this time t, capital T you consider. After this capital T, now this signal repeat itself. If this signal repeats itself, means I will say this is a signal which is a periodic signal, and period of this signal is capital T. It's a very simple concept. So what is periodic signal? A signal is a periodic when repeat itself after certain time t. That signal is called periodic signal. So mathematically, how you're going to define? So I can write xt equal to xt plus capital T. If this condition satisfies, then we can say that signal is periodic signal. And same, this is for continuous time signal. This is for continuous time signal. So in the same way, you can answer what will be the condition for discrete time signal. So for the discrete time signal, condition will be simply this: replace t with a small n, x of n plus capital N. That's it. This will be a condition of periodicity for the case of discrete time signal. Discrete time signal. That's all, students. So these two conditions, one for continuous time signal and other for discrete time. Only thing is that you have to change the variable. For continuous time t, and for discrete it will be a small n. That's it, nothing else. Okay, so now we are going to see periodic signal in detail. If signal is periodic, what is period for this, and how do we identify whether this signal is periodic or not? That is a question mark, and that question mark we have to clear in today's class. So see here, suppose I had derived one derivation in earlier class. So wait a minute. Yes, suppose I consider myself that this signal is a periodic signal. So which signal? Let us consider. I'm still in periodic. Let us consider, and same it will be true for discrete, student. So let us consider xt equal to a sine omega t plus phi. In a standard form we have this. Means I consider only one sine wave which has amplitude a, frequency omega, and phase phi. This is my standard form. And I'm saying this signal is periodic. I'm saying this signal is periodic. Okay. So this signal is periodic means what we have a condition. So condition for periodicity, it must satisfy this condition. Xt equal to xt plus capital T. So LHS, what we have from LHS, we have this. So from RHS, what should be? So simply replace t with t plus capital T. So if you do so, what you will get? You will get a sine omega t plus capital T plus phi. Or further, you little simplify this. This is xt plus capital T a sine omega t plus phi. Assume this is equation number 1. Assume this equation number 2. See, from this equation, I want equation 1 and 2 equal. So when equation 1 and 2 will be equal? When equation 1 and 2 will be equal? Question mark. Answer for this, you see here, if you compare LHS xt equal to xt plus t, if LHS equal means RHS will also be equal. So in RHS, what you have? Here you have a, here you have amplitude a, perfect. Here you have trigonometric function sine, here also you have trigonometric function sine. You see argument of this sine omega t here, here also you have omega t. Next, what you have phi also here, but you see in equation 1 you don't see this term omega t. So equation 1 and 2 will be equal when we make it this omega t 0. If we make this omega t equal to 0, then only we can say equation 1 and 2 will be equal. But this is not possible, students. We cannot make it 0. So what we have alternative approach, so that we can say equation 1 and 2 equal. So we can write here condition. So condition is equation 1 and 2 will be equal. Equation 1 and 2 will be equal only when omega t equal to 2 pi m, where m is integer number. Means, you know, sine 2 pi, if I say sine 2 pi m plus theta, what you will say? Whatever m is integer number I am saying. M is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. So sine 2 pi m plus theta, it always gives you sine theta, students. Hope you know this. So this concept I incorporated here. So I said when this omega t equal to 2 pi m, so I can write this is a sine omega t plus phi plus 2 pi m, that gives you a sine omega t plus phi. Hence equation 1 and 2 equal. So equation 1 and 2 here, equation 1 and 2 will be equal when we have this condition. So if we have this condition, now we can say what is my time period. So this is my capital T, students. So capital T is my time period. This is what we are interested in. So this is equal to 2 pi upon omega into m. Please remember this, students. This is very, very important equation to find periodicity. To find periodicity, you have to use this equation. This is for the case of continuous time. And same you can apply for a discrete function. In place of t, you can write a small n. And in place of capital T, you write capital N. So when you perform for discrete, so in place of t, what you will write? In place of t, you will write capital N. This 2 pi will remain same. Omega will also be same here. M is also same. N equal to 2 pi upon omega into m. So this is for discrete and this is for continuous. You see, expressions are same, but condition, but here some logic for continuous time and logic for that will differ. So that I will clear to you by taking one problem. So coming to the problem first, and understand we find fundamental period for discrete and continuous time. So that will be more important, so that you can understand very easily. See here, consider my this is my problem. Consider this question. I am considering question I am taking here. Determine condition here. And you know what condition for periodicity, that is xt equal to xt plus capital T. So now question is determine whether the given functions or signals, you can write given signals are periodic or not. Are periodic or not. If periodic, find its fundamental period. fundamental period. Okay. So consider 3 to 4 problems. First problem for continuous time and second part will be for discrete. Consider this xt equal to, let me consider simple problem first, sine 6 pi t. B, xt equal to sine 6 pi t plus cos 4 pi t. And same you repeat for discrete also. Xn equal to sine 6 pi n. B, xn equal to sine 6 pi n plus cos 4 pi n. So we have 4 different functions, means 2 for continuous and 2 for discrete. Now we have to see what kind of this, whether it is periodic or not. So let me focus first over this. See here, am I audible, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. xt equal to sine 6 pi t. So for this, we have to see whether this signal is periodic or not. Okay. So this signal is periodic. What is my condition? Condition is xt equal to xt plus capital T. And from this condition, what we got? We got that t equal to 2 pi upon omega into m. M is integer number. So to find fundamental period, the only thing is that from the given problem, we have to find the value of omega. Okay. So what is omega now from the problem? So from this problem, we have omega is 6 pi sine omega t. So omega is 6 pi. So omega is given to you. So simply you put this omega value here in this expression and then you find this t. Okay, do that. So capital T equal to 2 pi upon omega is now 6 pi and this is m. Okay. And now this 2 pi is cancelled with this. This is t equal to m by 3. So here, what is the value of m? So here you keep a list value of m. So you keep m equal to 1. So if you keep m equal to 1, you will be getting this 1 by 3. So list value of m, you cannot put 0 here. If you put m equal to 0, that gives you 0, means time period is 0. Time period is 0 means meaningless. So you start from list value of m, that is 1. So simply I am putting here list value of this m is 1, over which we are getting this time period 1 by 3. So I will say this time period of this signal is 1 by 3, students. Therefore, time period of this is 1 by 3. That's it. This is my time period, students. Nothing else. Okay, and same if I, one more thing, I want your attention. See here, you have to put a value of m should be an integer number. Remember this, m should be integer. By putting m integer number, remember this value must be a rational value, students. I want your attention here. Once you put a value of m, that is list value of m, like m equal to 1, I put it here. And by putting this m, what we see here, this gives you 1 by 3. And this 1 by 3 is your rational number, students. This is your rational number. If it is rational number, then you can say this is periodic signal, students. If you are getting this time period is a rational number, then you say this is periodic signal. Otherwise, you say non-periodic signal. Means suppose something like that you got t equal to 1 by 3 pi. So 1 by 3 pi is not a rational number, students. So this signal will not be a periodic. Remember this. So this must be a rational number. Suppose I took this example. In place of this 6 pi, I have a question this way. I may create here to make you clear. I have a problem like this. In place of 6 pi t, now I'm giving a problem to you. This is my function. Suppose my function is, wait a minute, let me erase all. Suppose I have function sine 6t. In place of sine 6 pi, I'm writing here sine 6t. So what about this signal sine 6t? So you find this t is 2 pi upon this omega. Okay, this is m. So what now? 2 pi omega is what? 6. So this is m pi by 3. And what this now? You put m equal to 1, so that gives you pi by 3. So this is your periodic signal, students. This is your periodic signal. But if you get something like this 1 upon 3 pi, this is not a periodic. Means in denominator it should not be a pi. So this is also a periodic signal, students. There is no problem. Remember this. This must be a rational number. Then only we can say this signal is periodic. I will take example. And then you will understand. So we understood this signal is a periodic signal. And what is fundamental period for this? 1 by 3. Same coming to this second part, means we are going to consider this portion here. For this, we are going to find what is fundamental period C. For this, what you will write? N equal to 2 pi upon omega into m. What omega is? 6 pi. So put it here. This is 2 pi upon 6 pi. So now this is cancel out. This is m by 3. So n equal to m by 3. So what is the least value of m? What is the least value of m so that it gives you integer number? Can anyone say? What is the least value of m? See, this capital N, as I told you, this capital N should not be a decimal value. Should not be a decimal value. Because n is always be a integer number. So whatever you have fundamental period for this small n, means capital N, that should be integer number. Means fundamental period cannot be decimal value, students. So you have to put a value of a small m in such a way that this capital N should be integer number. So if you put m equal to 1, you cannot get what we call integer number. You will be getting m equal to 1, you will be getting 0.33 decimal value. So we cannot choose m equal to 1. Next you will go for m equal to 2. So 2 by 3 is again decimal value. We cannot take this m equal to 2 because m equal to 2 we are getting decimal, and for decimal we cannot say this is a periodic signal. So next what? M equal to 3. So when we put m equal to 3, what is my observation? My observation is that when I put m equal to 3, this will give you integer number, then it gives you 1. So we are getting a fundamental period capital N. This is equal to 1 for what value of m? For m equal to 3. So this is my fundamental period, students. So you see here, for the case of for the case of continuous time, it was a fundamental period 1/3, and for the case of discrete, we are getting fundamental period is 1 here, right? So you see, this way you can differentiate. Means for continuous time signal and for discrete time signal, it is not necessary that periodicity will remain same. It is not necessary. It may or may not be same. That example I gave it to you. So this is what you have. This way you can find fundamental period. Now we have this second part. When we have a composite function, composite means we have more than one function, more than one signals. In such a way, how do we find fundamental period? Is it clear now so far, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now when we have a composite function, suppose like this, sorry. We have a function like this. Many people face problem here. In single function, they don't feel any problem. Simply by applying this logic, they find fundamental period. When we have a composite function like this, sine 6 pi t plus some other function plus some other function and so on and so forth. So in such a case, how do we find fundamental period? Okay, first of all, you have to check whether it is a periodic signal or not. And once you identify that this signal is periodic, then only you have to find fundamental period. So first objective is you have to say this signal is periodic or not. So how you are going to say when we have a composite function? You see here. What will be my approach? Please follow this approach, students. For each function, you just note it down what is angular frequency. So for this, what you have omega 1. Consider this omega 1. This you call 6 pi. And for this, what you have omega 4 pi. So you see omega 2 equal to 4 pi. Now you take a ratio. Omega 1 upon omega 2. If it is a rational number, if ratio is a rational number, then you say that signal is periodic. If not, you say that signal is aperiodic. So if you take either omega 1 upon omega 2 or omega 2 upon omega 1, doesn't matter. It will give you, if it gives you a rational number, then you say that signal is periodic, otherwise non-periodic. If it is non-periodic, no need to find fundamental period because fundamental period cannot be calculated for non-periodic signal. So if it is periodic, it must be a rational number. So omega 1 is 6 pi. Omega 2 is 4 pi. So if you divide it, it gives you 3/2. And this 3/2 is a rational number. So this signal is periodic, students. This signal is periodic. So if this signal is periodic, next your objective is to find fundamental period. So how will you find fundamental period? See here. I'm going to give you best logic so that you should not have any confusion for the case of continuous as well as for discrete. It will have a same approach, no different approach. So one approach is enough to find periodicity for composite function. So what approach is? See here. So if this signal is periodic, then to find fundamental period, first you find omega naught. Means fundamental frequency of this composite function. So what way? So omega 1 is 6 pi. So this is what? 6 pi upon 1. I may write it. Omega 2 is what? 4 pi upon 1. So if you have this omega 1 equal to 6 pi upon 1, means what you do, you take HCF. HCF of what? Numerator. Remember, wait a minute. Highest common factor of numerator omega 1 and omega 2. याद रहेगा? And then in ratio, in denominator, what you will write? Take a LCM. LCM of omega 1, omega 2. So you see here, what is numerator of this omega 1? 6 pi, and numerator of this 4 pi. Denominator of this omega 1, this is 1. Denominator of this omega 2 is 1. So what is SCF now? SCF of 6 pi and 4 pi upon LCM of 1 and 1. Please tell me what is SCF of 6 pi and 4 pi? Anyone? Anuradha या वंशिका? कोई एक बताओ. What is SCF of 6 pi and 4 pi? Anuradha? Am I audible? वंशिका, कहाँ चले गए आप लोग?
Sir, 2 pi.
2 pi. Okay. Let me see. 6 pi means I may write this way, 3 into 2 pi. Okay. And 4 pi means I may write 2 into 2 pi. Yes. So this is my highest common factor. Very good. So SCF of this 6 pi and 4 pi, that is 2 pi, and LCM of this, that is 1. So omega naught is now 2 pi. That's all, students. So once you find omega naught, what you have to find? Fundamental period. So what T is? So T is simply 2 pi upon omega naught, and what this is 2 pi upon 2 pi into m, you consider here. This is cancel out, put m equal to 1, you are getting this 1. That's all. This is what you have fundamental period, students. That way you just find it out. And same you apply for this. So if you find this SCF 6 pi and this LCM, just you take it out, I think you'll be getting the same answer, right? Same you apply for the case of this discrete. Take this omega 1, 6 pi, take this 4 pi, you put it here, take SCF, and then you find this. Then what you have? You'll be getting this simply 2 pi cancel out. M is this. So n equal to m. So what is the least value of m? So that n will be integer number. So m equal to 1. So m equal to 1 means n will be equal to 1. So both case we have a same answer. You just do it for the case of discrete. Answer I have written here, n equal to 1. You just verify by following this approach. You'll be getting the same answer. Okay. So this is all about for periodic signal. Next class, students, I may not take your class tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and day after tomorrow because of UGC visit. UGC visit is about to begin from tomorrow onwards. So complete 3 days, all faculty members will be busy. So maybe if I find time, I may take your class. If I don't, so please understand my situation. I will be quite busy. So I will continue my class after 3 days. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, is there any information regarding opening up the university?
No. So far there is no such notice we have. right? So I think this semester I cannot say anything, students. So there is no news as such I have related to this. So once once I have information regarding this, I will let you know, right?
Okay, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.